Hi, and welcome to the second hour of Focal Point on AFR Talk. Great to have you in the conversation. Brian Fisher is my name. The program is Focal Point. The network is the American Family Radio Talk Network. Great to have you on board with us today. I think let me take a quick look here. We've got a quick phone call I want to grab. Someone's been called and has been waiting patiently. Let's go to Armida, Grants Pass, Oregon. Armida, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind as we start this second hour?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I enjoy your program a lot and appreciate
Thank
you do personally. I listened to Tim Wildmon this morning, and he was expressing his own opinion, which he thought the person calling him might consider it radical. But I just want to affirm what Tim Wildmon said, that he believes that Obama is deliberately taking our country down, and I heartily agree with that because of his his Marxist background. He doesn't like capitalism. He doesn't like America, and I think he's doing it on purpose. And when our people comment that I think he's acting ignorantly, I think he's being very deliberate. And if you look at his background with he liked the teachings of Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals. That's his agenda. He just wants to start a revolution. It doesn't really matter who wins. He just wants to destroy, and I just wanted to agree with Tim Wildmon on that.
Yeah. All right, Armida. Listen, I appreciate that, and I agree with you. And Pravda, which is the press organization, the press organ for the old Soviet Union, now Russia. I mean, they make no bones about it. They call President Obama a communist. They don't even call him a socialist or a Marxist. They call him a flat-out communist. They're saying, look, his agenda is the Marxist manifesto, which treats capitalism as the root and the source of all evil in the world. And I think I agree with you, Armida. That's President Obama's agenda, is to take down capitalism.
And the Communist Party USA, I went on the website before the election, and they endorsed Obama.
Mm-hmm.
So that confirms it. But it's just so, how do you get people to know that and believe it if they do find out? That's really unbelievable that people think, no, you're just, you're going off the deep end and that kind of thinking. But it's so obvious that they see what's happening to me.
Yeah, and it's like you say, it's right there on their webpage. This is the guy saying, look, if you're a communist, you have communist sympathies, you live and vote in America, this is the guy to vote for. This is the guy that's going to come the closest to implementing the communist program, the communist agenda. All right, Armida, very good call. Thank you for that. Let's grab clip number 4 if we can, Rob. The White House confirms. This is Jay Carney. Paul Ryan presented a budget today. It's not perfect, but I support it because it's the only thing that's out there, and it will balance the budget in 10 years, and it allows for growth. You're going to hear people out there saying it's draconian, it's cut after cut after cut. Paul Ryan's budget will allow for the government to continue to grow at a rate of 3.4% a year. Don't let the Democrats or liberals or progressives or President Obama or Jay Carney lie to you. This is not a budget that involves spending cuts. It's a reduction in the rate of growth. The current Obama plan would have federal spending growing at a rate of 4.9% a year. Paul Ryan's budget trims that back to 3.4% a year. The federal government is still growing. It's growing at faster than the rate of inflation. Government spending will go up under the Ryan budget. It'll go up. We'll spend $41 trillion, Ryan says, instead of $46 trillion, which we would under Obama. So spending still goes up. Government spending grows 3.4% a year. Don't let anybody lie to you, because that's all you're going to hear about the Ryan budget is it's all cuts, it's balanced on the backs of the poor, blah, 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 bloviation, bloviation, bloviation. It's nothing of the sort. Federal spending still grows under the Ryan budget. But he does have a plan that's going to preserve Medicare. Ladies and gentlemen, if changes aren't made to Medicare, that thing is insolvent, bankrupt, kaput in 11 years. It's only got enough money right now on a revenue stream to go until 2023 or 2024, and it's done. It's toast. There's no Medicare for anybody. And he blocked grants. We got to do something about food stamps. I read today we got all-time almost 48 million people in America on food stamps right now. 20% of the American people are on food stamps. It's completely unsustainable. And right now the incentive with welfare programs, with the food stamp program, the incentive that states have is to get more people on the program because they get more federal money. And Paul Ryan says, look, what I think we ought to do is we ought to block grant that to the states. We ought to just send them a block grant and then let them take care of the people that they think need help in their own way. And then all of a sudden now they're going to have an incentive to manage that money to make it stretch as far as they possibly can. So it reduces outlays to between 19 and 20% of GDP. I think we ought to get that down to 18, but it does get it down somewhere within reason. It's running 23, 24, 25% right now. Absolutely unsustainable. Ryan's budget would just have two tax brackets, 10 and 25%. I would prefer just a straight flat for everybody, but at least this is better than what we've got right now, which is 7 brackets. And it drops the corporate tax code rate down to 25%, which is a huge advantage, particularly. Well, let me play this soundbite first of all. This is Jay Carney, clip 4, and he makes it clear that President Obama has zero interest in any kind of fiscal responsibility. Let's listen.
Just for quick clarity, 10-year window means you guys are not, you won't have a balanced budget target in a 10-year window.
I'm not going to tell you what his budget says.
Window, so that's why
right, but I would look to the president's past budget proposals, the president's offer to John Boehner, the Speaker of the House, and for what his target has been, which is consistent with bipartisan panels that have looked at these issues. Because, again, it should not be deficit reduction for deficit reduction's sake. The goal here should be economic growth and job creation.
So the goal is not deficit reduction. We have no intention, no plan, making no effort to get the budget in balance. Now, Paul Ryan's budget, it's not going to get adopted because it'll go nowhere in the Senate. President Obama would veto it if it got to his desk. But here's the point. If the House passes this, then the House has sent to President Obama a budget that balances in 10 years. They've done their job. They've exercised fiscal responsibility. They have presented a plan to the president that will preserve Social Security, that will preserve and extend Medicare, and that will balance the budget in 10 years and still allow the government to grow at 3.4% a year. You know, the Cato Institute, they've calculated that we could allow, if we flatlined federal spending, which I would be in favor of doing, let's spend the same amount, let's not cut anything, but let's just spend the same amount this year on every federal program that we spent last year. Same amount. We're not going to cut anything. We're not going to raise anything. And according to the Cato Institute, we could balance the budget in 6 years doing that. We could allow spending to grow at 1% a year and balance the budget in 8 years. We could allow federal spending to grow at 2% or 3% a year and balance the budget in a decade. And that basically is Ryan's program. He's got some tax increases in there that I'm not crazy about. That's why he can have the government grow at 3.4%. I don't think we ought to be raising taxes on anybody. But the point here is here's a plan that actually works, and it will balance the budget in 10 years. So if the Republicans pass this thing, and they can do it, they got a majority in the House, and it's not great, it's not perfect, but because it's the only thing that's out there that would get us to a balanced budget, so I would be prepared to support it for that reason alone. Focal Point AFR Talk, 888-589-8840. Back in 2 minutes.